Broadcasting Corporation.
"6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Romesh Peris and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The travel restrictions to be lifted only for essential activities. The leader of the opposition and his wife test positive for the COVID-19 infection. No shortage of essential goods during travel restrictions and in the month ahead. The Irrigation Department warns of flood risks for many river basins if rains continue. The former Prime Minister says the government needs a new strategy to fight the COVID-19 pandemic in Sri Lanka. A grace period to pay traffic fines due to the COVID-19 restrictions. In international news, the UN urges full adherence to ceasefire as life resumes in Gaza. In sports, in cricket, Mushfiqur's and Mahmudullah's props up Bangladesh on a tricky surface. The head of the National Operations Centre for the Prevention of the COVID-19 outbreak, General Shavendra Silva, states that the travel restrictions imposed on the island is only relaxed and not removed on Tuesday, May 25th. Once again, the head of the National Operations Centre for the Prevention of the COVID-19 outbreak, General Shavendra Silva, states that the travel restrictions imposed on the island is only relaxed and not removed on Tuesday, May 25th. The island-wide travel restrictions that came into effect from 11 p.m. on Friday, May 21st, will be relaxed at 4 a.m. on Tuesday, May 25th, and will be reimposed at 11 p.m. on the same day. The Army Commander emphasizes that the sole purpose of relaxing the travel restrictions on Tuesday is to allow the public to purchase essential goods and services such as food and medicine. Meanwhile, the Department of Government Information said only essential goods and service providers, such as groceries selling food items, pharmacies and filling stations, will be allowed to remain open when the travel restrictions are relaxed. In addition, only one person per household will be allowed to go out for the purchasing of the essential items. The department said the implementation of travel restrictions for the coming weekend, that is the 29th of May and the 30th of May, will be determined after reviewing the situation on the 28th of May. The leader of the opposition, Sajith Premadasa, and his wife have tested positive for the COVID-19 infection. Premadasa confirmed this posting on social media a short while ago. As per health guidelines, the Samagi Janabalavegya leader too had undergone a PCR test which had confirmed that he too had contracted the coronavirus. Both Premadasa and his wife are currently receiving treatment at the hospital. The SJB leader also urged the public to remain safe and follow all the health guidelines and strictures to fight the COVID-19 wave together as a nation. Meanwhile, steps are currently being taken to identify the members of parliament who worked closely with the leader of the opposition, both within and outside the parliamentary premises, following the confirmation that he tested positive for COVID-19. The Minister of Trade, Bandula Gunawardena, says there is no shortage of essential goods during the travel restrictions and in the month ahead. The minister expressed his views to the media following an observational tour of the stocks of essential commodities. The minister inspected several storages of direct importers in the PETA Wholesale Centre. Minister Gunawardena said plans are being formulated to provide essential items to the public under financial agreements through the Sathosa outlet. Minister Gunawardena further said vendors can access stocks through the PETA Wholesale Centre while stringently adhering to the health guidelines during the travel restrictions. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Now, EPF information and services through an SMS from HDFC Bank.
The Irrigation Department warns that there is a risk of floods in many river basins if the southwestern parts of the island receive the rainfall forecast by the Met Department in the next few days. The Irrigation Department has announced that the low-lying areas of the Mi Oya, the Dadru Oya, the Maha Oya, the Attanagalu Oya, the Kalani Ganga, the Kalu Ganga, the Benthara Ganga, the Ging Ganga, the Nilbala Ganga and the Kirama Oya could be inundated. Many reservoirs in the island have been filled due to the heavy rains in the past week, and especially the Dadru Oya, the Udavalave and the Inginamitia reservoirs have already reached their maximum capacity. The Irrigation Department said the sluice gates of these reservoirs may have to be opened with the rains in the future. Meanwhile, the Met Department said the southwest monsoon condition is gradually establishing over the country. The former Prime Minister and the leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, says that there is a need to think anew and formulate a new program to fight the COVID-19 pandemic situation in Sri Lanka. Stating that Sri Lanka needs nearly 30 million COVID-19 doses, the former Prime Minister stated that not all citizens will be able to receive their vaccinations within 2021 despite the efforts of the government. Therefore, priority should be given to seeking medical advice as to how to prevent the further spread of the virus. The former Prime Minister urges the government not to sacrifice people's lives by focusing solely on the economy. The Ministry of Health has issued a series of guidelines for private hospitals that conduct COVID-19 PCR and rapid antigen testing. These guidelines were issued by Dr. Asela Gunawardena, the Director General of Health Services. The guidelines state that tests should be carried out only when it is indicated as per the recommendations of the consultant or the medical officer in charge of the triage counter. Furthermore, if a patient is found to be COVID-19 positive, it is the responsibility of the hospital to inform the epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health, the medical officer of health in the respective area, and the patient. Moreover, the laboratory or hospital must arrange for the positive patients to be accommodated in authorized COVID-19 treatment centers as per the recommendations of the responsible physician. A stock of Kerala cannabis weighing about 131 kilos and 800 grams was recovered by the Navy during a foot patrol conducted in the beach area of Thondamanaru in Jaffna yesterday. The foot patrol led by the Northern Naval Command in the dark hours on the 22nd of May in the beach area of Thondamanaru led to the recovery of this stock of Kerala cannabis in 4 sacks left behind by racketeers. Meanwhile, the street value of the stock of Kerala cannabis is believed to be about 39.54 million rupees. The hall held by the Navy was set on fire today in the Northern Naval Command. That's local news.
දැන් HDFC බැංකුවෙන් EPF ණයතොරතුරු හා සේවාවන් SMS එකකින්
රාජ්‍ය හා පෞද්ගලිකංශයේ රැකියාවේ නියුතු ඔබ කොහේ සිටියත් EPF ණයතොරතුරු හා සේවාවන් ලබා ගැනීම සඳහා කළ යුත්තේ EPF හිස්තැනක් නම හා ප්‍රදේශය සඳහන් කර 071 8යි 800යි 999ට SMS එකක් එවීම පමණයි.
HDFC බැංකුව ඔබ අප සුරකින්න බැංකුව
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Vidya Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
The Sri Lanka Post said in a statement that the Secretary of the Ministry has approved to grant a grace period to pay traffic fines imposed by the Sri Lanka Police on or after the 5th of April 2021. The Sri Lanka Post said traffic fines and other various fines that could not have been paid due to various reasons in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic could be paid without incurring any additional fines. Accordingly, fines can be paid via all post offices or sub-post offices without being subject to any penalty during the grace period. Furthermore, the public will be able to make payments free of charge at any post office or sub-post office island-wide for payments of fines that have exceeded 14 days. The grace period will be in effect until further notice.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vidya Mahatmya.
Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
And now in Watchlight, the Commissioner General of the Excise Department has issued a directive to all liquor license holders that all liquor outlets and bars are to remain closed on the 25th of May when travel restrictions are lifted briefly. The island-wide travel restriction imposed from 11 p.m. from May 21st is set to be lifted at 4 a.m. on May 25th. However, the restrictions will be in effect from 11 p.m. on the same day. That came to you in Watchlight. And now in world news headlines, the UN urges full adherence to ceasefire as life resumes in Gaza. UK aircraft carrier heads for Indo-Pacific. Vaccination for Olympic athletes ramped up. The United Nations Security Council, in its first statement since violence erupted on May 10th, has called for full adherence to the ceasefire between Israelis and Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. The statement, approved by all 15 UNSC members, said it mourned the loss of civilian lives resulting from the violence and stressed the immediate need for humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian civilian population, particularly in Gaza. The 11-day Israeli bombardment of Gaza killed at least 248 people, including 66 children, with more than 1,900 people wounded. At least 12 people in Israel were killed by rocket fire from Gaza. Britain's state-of-the-art aircraft carrier, the HMS Queen Elizabeth, has left for the Indo-Pacific region on a world tour that will last about 7 months. The dispatch of this ship to the region is believed to boost Britain's involvement in the Indo-Pacific region and to deter China, which is asserting its influence there. The British government called for increasing focus on the region in a new policy paper on diplomacy and security for the coming 10 years, which was released in March. With the opening of the Tokyo Olympics 2 months away, vaccination against the coronavirus for international athletes, coaches and other staff is being accelerated. The International Olympic Committee and the Tokyo Organizing Committee have expressed all along their commitment to holding safe and secure games. The IOC is spearheading the inoculation of the Olympic participants amid uncertainty over when the pandemic will be brought under control worldwide. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. The UN urges full adherence to ceasefire as life resumes in Gaza. UK aircraft carrier heads for Indo-Pacific. Vaccination for Olympic athletes ramped up. That was World News, and now in development news, the United Nations has declared May 20th as World Bee Day, with the aim of promoting beekeeping around the world and to protecting the bee population. On the sidelines of this global event, the Sri Lanka Navy introduced the 50th bee colony to the project Navy Bees, run by the Naval Dockyard in Trincomalee, with the objective of popularizing beekeeping. As part of this project, brood boxes have been established at various locations in the Naval Dockyard and the Sober Island in Trincomalee. In addition, an awareness program on beekeeping was also held at the Chapel Hill on the 20th of May. By the end of 2021, the project is expected to expand in a bid to establish 100 brood boxes within the Naval Dockyard in Trincomalee.
Sports News is brought to you by...
When Aya bought a motorbike, he bought 2 helmets. So sweet of him. I'm sure the other one is for me.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan නෙවෙයි.
In cricket, in the first day night ODI in Dhaka, Sri Lanka toured Bangladesh. Mushfiqur Rahim and Mahmudullah put on a 107-run fifth-wicket partnership to help raise Bangladesh to 257 for 6 on a sluggish Mirpur surface. Dushmanta Chamira took the first wicket of the day, however having Litton Das caught at second slip with his third ball. Sri Lanka, currently chasing a target of 258, have lost 2 wickets for 72 runs, with skipper Kusal Perera and vice-captain Kusal Mendis at the crease with 34 overs remaining. That was Sports News.
My wife always sets a full lunch table, even if it's just the 2 of us. She always expects people to drop by, like maybe the army.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan නෙවෙයි.
Contributory deposit of ₹1,000 from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
SLT Mobitel, the national ICT and telecommunication service provider, has stormed into Sri Lanka's top 10 most valuable brands according to the annual index released by Brand Finance Lanka recently. SLT Mobitel has been ranked at 9th place and is a new entrant to the top 10. The ranking is based on the 18th annual review of Sri Lanka's most valuable brands conducted by brand valuation and strategy firm Brand Finance Lanka. Brand Finance estimates the value of the brands in its league tables using a valuation method compliant with the industry standards based on consumer behavior and financial metrics.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of ₹1,000 from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
And now in economic news, the Sri Lanka Investment Forum 2021, the first and largest virtual investor forum in the region, is set to draw participation from portfolio and direct investors from across the globe. SLIF 2021 will be held from the 7th to the 9th of June 2021 and will feature 50-plus sessions scheduled to reach across 2 time zones, enriched with expert insight from across diverse industries. The SLIF 2021 is jointly organized by the Board of Investment, the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce and the Colombo Stock Exchange.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The southwest monsoon condition is gradually establishing over the country. The Met Department predicts showers in the western, Sabaragamuwa central, northwestern and southern provinces, with heavy falls of about 100 millimeters in the western and Sabaragamu provinces, and in the Gala, Matara, Kandy and Nuwara Elia districts. The department forecasts several spells of showers in the northern and north-central provinces, with showers in the eastern and Uva provinces during the evening or night. The low-pressure area in the east-central Bay of Bengal has intensified into a depression, and under the influence of this system, winds over the island and the rainy conditions in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central and southern provinces are expected to enhance from tomorrow. The Met Department predicts wind speeds can increase up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour over the island and up to 50 to 55 kilometers per hour in the western slopes of the Central Hills, the northern, the north central, the northwestern and the Uva provinces and in the Hambantota district.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue in partnership with the Ministry of Education introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The travel restrictions to be lifted only for essential activities. The leader of the opposition and his wife tests positive for the COVID-19 infection. No shortage of essential goods during travel restrictions and in the month ahead. The Irrigation Department warns of flood risks for many river basins if rains continue. The former Prime Minister says the government needs a new strategy to fight the COVID-19 pandemic in Sri Lanka. A grace period to pay traffic fines due to the COVID-19 restrictions. In international news, the UN urges full adherence to ceasefire as life resumes in Gaza. In sports in cricket, Mushfiqur and Mamadullah props up Bangladesh on a tricky surface. That concludes this news broadcast, and now it's back to your helpful host, Soundi Thavam on the other side in navy blue today. Over to you, Soundi.